Friends, welcome to the second lecture of our Python Basics series. In the previous lecture, we learned what Python is, its features, applications, how to install Python, and also we written our first Python program. Now, in today's lecture, we will study four fundamental concepts of Python: comments, identifiers, keywords, and variables. These concepts form the foundation of Python programming. Once you understand them, writing and understanding Python code becomes much easier. By the end of this lecture, you will know how to write comments, create valid identifiers, understand Python keywords, and use variable to store data. So without any further delay, let's begin with our first topic. Now let us start with a quick recap of lecture 1. So in the first lecture, we learned about what is Python. As I told you that it is a high-level interpreted general-purpose programming language, easy to read, write, and understand. It is created by Guido van Rossum and it is created in 1991. We also studied about application of Python, which include web dev, data science, machine learning, AI, automation, scripting, game development, cybersecurity, desktop applications, and many more. We also ran our first Python program. Every programmer writes their first Python program, which is Hello World. It is a very simple Python program, and you also got this output Hello World. In the first lecture, we understood what Python is, where it is used, and wrote our very first program. Let's now dive deeper into Python basics. Now, let's understand the first topic of today's lecture, which is comments in Python. So, what are comments? Comments are used to write notes in a program to explain the code. They help programmers understand what a particular section of code does. One important thing to remember is that Python ignores comments when the program is executed, so they do not affect the output. Now, there are two types of comment. First is single line comment and another one is multi-line comment. In single line comment we use hash and in multi-line comment we use single quotes or double quotes 3 times. Now come to single line comment. A single line comment starts with the hash symbol. Anything written after the hash of the same line is treated as a comment and is ignored by Python. For example, here it is hash. This is a single line comment. This prints a message. X is assigned the value of 10. In this example, Python only executes the print statement and assigns the value 10 to the variable x. The text after the hash is only for explanation. Now come to multi-line comments. Sometimes we need to write comments that span multiple lines. In Python, we can do this using triple single quotes or triple double quotes. They are useful when we want to describe a large block of code or provide detailed documentation. Why are comments useful? Comments have many advantages. They make the code easier to understand. They help us remember what the code does. When we read it later, they improve the readability of the program for other programmers. They are very useful for explaining complex logic. Now take an example. Here we written a program to add two numbers. The comment explained that A is the first number and B is the second number. And here the comment explains that we are going to perform addition, add the both numbers. This makes the code much easier to understand, even for someone reading it for the first time. Always remember, comments do not affect the execution of the program. They are written only for humans to read and understand the code better. Now let's move on to our next topic. So our next topic is identifiers in Python. An identifier is a name given to programming elements such as variable, function, classes, module. It helps us uniquely identify these elements in a Python program. For example, like name, age, total marks, calculation, these all are identifiers. Now we learn the rules for naming identifier. There are Some important rules that we must follow while creating identifier. The first rule is that an identifier can contain only letters, digits, and underscore. Second rule, the identifier must start with alphabet or underscore. Third rule is that it cannot start with a digit, otherwise it will be wrong. The fourth rule is Python identifier are case sensitive, which means name, name, and name. Here you can see that all the letters are in lowercase. Here you can see that the N is in uppercase, and here all the letters are in uppercase. They all are considered three different identifiers. No spaces or special characters are allowed in identifier, and Python keywords cannot be used as identifiers. Let's look at some of the valid examples of identifiers. Here you can see that name starting with alphabet, age, one, my variable, score, value, calculate, total. These are some valid examples. And here are some invalid examples. Here you can see that the identifier has started with a digit. Here you can see that there is a space. Here hyphen is a special character. At the rate is a special character. Here it is written for. For is a Python keyword. We will know about keyword in next slide. Here you can see that my head space is not allowed. 100 marks still it starts with digit. Always choose meaningful name followed identifier. For example, if you are writing x equal to 10, y is equal to x plus 5, this is not good. Instead of this, you can write num num1 is equal to 10, num2 is equal to num1 plus 5. This makes our course much easier to read and understand. So identifiers are simply named, but following the correct naming rule is very important while writing Python program. Now let's move to our next topic. So our next topic is keyword. Keyword are predefined words in Python that have a special meaning. These words are already defined by Python and are used to perform specific tasks. Because they already have a fixed meaning, we cannot use them as a variable name, function name, or any other identifier. For example, if, else, for, while, return, they all are Python keywords. You can't use them as variable names or any other identifiers. Now, we come to difference between keywords and identifier. The student often got confused between keywords and identifier. The difference is very simple. Keywords are predefined words in Python with special meanings, and you cannot use as name or variable for any other entities. It is a part of Python syntax. Here are some examples. While identifiers are the names given by the programmer to variable functions, classes, etc. It can be used to name variable function classes module. It is created by the programmer. Examples are age, total marks, calculate sum. Now, so, there are some common keywords in Python like false, none, true, and these all are some keywords of Python. There are some important things to remember. Keywords cannot be used as identifiers. Most Python keywords are written in lowercase. However, true, false, and none start with a capital letter, so we should write them exactly as shown. Python is also case sensitive. For example, true is correct, like if you write TRUEW, true is correct, but this true is not correct. This is treated different and this is treated different. It is case sensitive language. Think of a keyword as traffic signal, just like a red traffic always means stop. You cannot change its meaning. Similarly, in Python, the keyword it will always represent a condition, for will always represent a loop, and return will always return a value. Their meanings are fixed by the language. Example. Let's see example on the slide. Here, if age is greater than 18, print adult, else print minor. So here, if and else are keyword. Age is an identifier. Python currently has 35 keywords. In recent Python version, it has 35 keywords. You do not need to memorize all of them. As you practice programming, you will naturally become familiar with most commonly used keywords like if, else, for, while, return, import. Now that we understand keyword, let's move to our next topic. Now, our next topic is variables in Python. What is a variable? Variable is a name location in a memory that is used to store data. In simple words, variable is like a container or a box that stores information. We can change the value stored inside the box whenever required during the execution of the program. For example, age is equal to 18. Here, age is the variable name and 18 is the value we stored inside it. The value can be changed anytime when you want. Now, some real life examples. Suppose you have a water bottle. The bottle is like a variable and the water inside it is the value. Today you may fill the bottle with water, tomorrow with juice. The container remains the same, but contents can change. Similarly, a variable can store different values during program execution. Now creating variables. Creating variables in Python is very simple. We use assignment operator. For example, name is equal to Rahul, age is equal to 18, height is equal to 5.9. Here is equal to is the assignment operator. Now, there are rules for naming the variable. The variable name must start with letter aged or underscore. The rest of name can contain letters, digits, and under. It cannot start with a digit. Variable names are also case sensitive. No spaces or special character are allowed. Python keyword cannot be used as variable names. Now see some valid and invalid examples. Here are some valid examples like name is one total marks count, and here are some invalid examples. You can see that they start with digit. Total marks it is containing hyphen. My var it is containing a space. At the rate value it is containing a special character. For it is a keyword. True it is also a keyword. Now good versus bad variable names. A good variable name is always meaningful. You can see that a student writes total amount. It helps to understand the code more thoroughly. Now, one important thing about Python is that it is a dynamically typed. This means you can even change the type of variable. Let's suppose that it is written x is equal to 10 and in the next time you can write x is equal to hello. So Python automatically handles this change and that's one of the reason why Python is beginner friendly. So variables are used to store data in a program. Choosing meaningful variable names and following the naming rule makes your programs more readable and professional. Thank you. Now we are moved to our next slide. Now let's understand the assignment operator in Python. The assignment operator is represented by equal to. It is used to assign a value to variable. It stores the value on the right hand side into the variable on the left hand side. For example, x is equal to 10. Here, x is variable and 10 is the value. Now assigning values. Now look at the example given on the slide. How to assign the value. Name is height here. These all are variable and these are the values. Here name is name is storing a string. Age is storing integer. Height is storing a float value. And age student is storing a boolean value. Now come to multiple assignment. Python also allows multiple assignments. Like if you want to assign the same value to multiple variable, we can write x equal to y equal to z equal to 100. And this means x, y, z all store the value 100. If we want to assign different value in one line, we can write a, comma b, comma c equal to 10, 20, 30. Here the value is assigned Different values are assigned, like A is equal assigned to 10, B assigned to 20, and C is assigned to 30. This slide also shows a few more examples. Mm, City equal to Delhi. Here city is storing a string. P is equal to Q is equal to R is equal to 50. All the variables P, Q, and R is storing the same value 50. X, Y, Z is equal to 5, 15, 25. Here X equal to 5, Y equal to 15, Z is equal to 25. Different values are stored in different variables. Now name X CGPA Siddharth 19.26 similar to this. Now some important points. Remember the assignment operator is used to store values in variable. It is one of the most basic and important concepts in Python programming. Now let's move to our final slide. Now let's practice what we have learned in this lecture. Look at this example. Wait a minute. Look at this example. Name Rahul as 18. In this program, we created three variables: name, age, and city. Name is storing a string, age is storing an integer, and city is also storing a string. Then we are using the print function to display the value stored in the variable. So the outputs will be Rahul 18 and Dilip. This is a simply example of creating variable and displaying their values. Here are what common mistakes a beginner can do. First mistake, a beginner can use keyword as a variable, which gives you syntax error. Second mistake is that you can starting a variable name with a number which is wrong. And the third mistake, you forgot the quotes around the string. This is incorrect because Delhi is text and the text must be written inside quotation mark. So it will also give you name error. Always use meaningful variable name, follows Python naming rule, and avoid these common mistakes. Doing so will help you write clean, readable, and error-free Python program. Now let's move to our final slide and quickly revise today's lecture. With this, we come to the end of today's lecture. Today we learned about comments, identifiers, keyword, variables, and the assignment operator, and some practice example along with common mistakes. These are the basic building blocks of Python, and understanding them will make it easier to learn advanced topic in the future. Keep practicing these concepts regularly because the more you practice, the more confident you will gain in programming. In our next lecture, we will learn about data types in Python and understand how Python stores different kinds of data. Thank you for watching this lecture. Keep practicing, keep learning. Have a great day.